Like Coach Hola said, I appreciate everybody coming. Obviously, it's an exciting time of year for us. The anticipation of getting the season started. Preseason practice is one of my favorite times of the year. Just getting ready to get started on February 13th. One thing I want to do before we get rolling this is I want to thank the administration at the University of Houston and specifically Mack Rhoades. When I interviewed for the job in 2010, I only had one question for him. Of course, he had a ton for me, but the only question that I had for him is, are you and is this university committed to win at the highest level? And his immediate response was yes, and that was good enough for me. And we've had a great partnership ever since, which culminated into a great season last year. And I appreciate, all the things, the supporters, everything that we've been able to do to our ballpark, within our program, which allows us to recruit great players. And it's a process to the whole thing. And it came to an head last year. We were a little short of our ultimate goal, which is playing in Omaha. But we will continue to build and continue to drive towards that. This year's team, obviously a lot of excitement about, this year's version of the Cougs. It's experienced team, and that's one thing I said prior to last year was we had experience. The 18 win season 3 years ago was made up primarily of a lot of these guys who were freshmen and new players. So, they've continued to grow, they've continued to work. And this season should be very rewarding for those guys who've been here for a long time with myself and the rest of the coaching staff. But, veteran ball club, we return, just about all of our pitching from last year. Our entire weekend rotation is back. However, we do have competition for those spots. I think we've recruited well, on both sides of the ball. And, there are not any givens in our pitching staff right now as to who's going to be the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday starter, because we do have some new kids that are pushing those guys pretty well. But, competition is a great thing, and we talk about it all the time, that we want our kids to compete against each other as hard as they can, where the games become a little bit easier. So they're competing against great players within our program right now. The bullpen, that's been probably the biggest question that I've received, since last year with the departure of Ford and Wellbrock, who were outstanding with, Ford won 9 or 10 games in the middle relief role. Chase was the all-time saves leader here at the University of Houston. Those guys were absolute nails at the back end. But I do feel good about, what is coming back. We have Jared Robinson back, Bubba Maxwell returns, a couple other kids return. We've recruited well with a couple of junior college kids and a few high school players that, we do have depth. I think that's one thing about this team is it's a pretty deep ball club, and we're all going to have options as we go through. From the offensive side of the ball, Casey Grayson, Frankie Ratcliffe, Caleb Barker have departed the program. They were seniors, but, once again, I felt like we recruited well. Behind the plate, Jacob Campbell and a newcomer, Ian Rice, are competing hard for that position. Connor Wong, a freshman kid out of Pearland High School, is playing well at shortstop, and we'll move Justin Montemayor, who was our first baseman 2 years ago, back over to that position. And of course, Connor Hollis is back at third, Josh Vidalis at second base, Sir Vincent Wright, Fulmer in left, and where I really have great options in left, actually Sir Vincent Wright, Fulmer in center, and in left field I have a ton of options. There's 4 or 5 guys that I'd feel great about putting them in the lineup. One of them will play, and the other will DH. So, on paper it looks like we're going to have a chance to have a good team. We got to stay healthy. Kids have to play well. We have to coach like crazy, and kind of our MO throughout this whole spring and the fall was, we're going to practice every day like we're the worst team in the country. Some people have us picked as high as 3, anywhere 6 to 7, but our mentality right now is that we're the bottom 3, and we're going to continue to work like that every day. Schedule this year, I'm excited about the schedule. Minnesota coming in to open up is a great program. I've had a little track record with them in the past, and they're always big, strong, physical, and they're competitive. And the one thing I have learned over the past 4 years playing teams from the north is, they come out of that gym like a caged animal. It's cold up there, and they're ready to get out in the sunshine and play. So they'll be very tough. Alabama's in here in week 2, which will be an Omaha contending team. We have the Minute Maid tournament, which is always, like I've said before, the best tournament in the country, where we'll play A&M, LSU, and Hawaii, 3 great programs. It's going to be an exciting rematch against LSU, who I think has a team that can win the national championship this year. Of course, Texas A&M is always competitive, and Hawaii, Coach Trapp does a great job down there. And we have a bunch of other great non-conference weekends. We have a road trip to New Mexico. We have Columbia coming in here for 4 games, who's a back-to-back NCAA tournament team. And, of course, our 3-game Silver Glove Series with Rice, which we'll play one time here, one time at Rice, and then we'll finish it up like we did last year out at Sugar Land at the Skeeters Ballpark. So, a lot of exciting things ahead in the program. I'm really excited about this year's team. The players have worked really hard, and we're just ready to get started on February 13th.
Coach, when you get to this point now where you're so high up the rankings. Obviously, that doesn't change your approach, but does it change the attitude and just the feeling around here?
Well, I think, I've said before, sometimes coaching teams that are successful are harder than coaching teams that are failing, because you don't always have everybody's attention and everybody's patting them on the back and telling them how great they are all the time. These guys haven't been that way. They've worked hard every single day. So, it's something you have to, for this program to be where we want it to be year in, year out, it's something you have to embrace. You can't run from it. So, it is what it is. They haven't, most of these kids were on the team last year that was ranked as high as 5th in the nation at one time. So this is hopefully something they're used to, and they learn how to handle it, and they can pass that along to the young guys, and we'll be ready to roll on the 13th. But like I tell the players, this is not the first day of practice wasn't the first day. We've been working for this. I've been working for this my entire life. They've been doing it ever since they played T-ball. So this is just another stepping stone along the road, to hopefully win a national championship here.
What was on your to-do list to get to this point, or to get you a position to be 2 games away from Omaha?
Well, we wanted to build a winning program, not just have a winning team every now and then. So, we may have kind of gone about it a little bit backwards, because our big priority was everybody that comes in contact with the team, I wanted the best I could possibly find, from sports medicine to communications to fundraising to camp. It's a strength coach, sports psychologist, nutritionist, coaching staff, anybody that's involved with the team. I wanted them to be the absolute best that our resource would allow us to do, which have been very good. And to me, when you build up everything around the team, along with great recruiting, the team is going to rise and it's going to pay itself off. So, that plan, although it was tough at times, that 18-game season wasn't any fun, or 18-win season. But they have. I do appreciate the fact that the staff, not only the coaches, but all of our support staff as well, has jumped on board, trusted the process when we were going through the tough times the first couple of years, and we just got to maintain that trust in each other. We talk about trust all the time within the team, within the coaches, and having it with each other. So you just got to keep grinding away and keep trusting each other.
A lot of living rooms, a lot of recruiting. Was sitting down with Frank the toughest recruiting job you did to get him to come here, or was that one of the easier ones?
It was. He's always been curious about the program at Houston. I've known Frank Anderson for a long time, as has Coach Couch. We're longtime friends. From the outside looking in, this is a great baseball school. It's got great tradition in baseball with high draft picks, major league players, success in the program. So, he did turn down offers from SEC, Big 12, ACC schools, other schools ranked in the top 25, but he really wanted to come to Houston. It was appealing to him. He'd been in Texas a long time at Texas Tech and the University of Texas, and of course, being just north of the border at Oklahoma State, was very familiar with what's going on recruiting wise and player wise here in the state. So I think it's been a great fit. He along with the other coaches have done a tremendous job, and I'm really appreciative that he decided to come.